Hello friends. If you are even slightly interested in political philosophy, then you must read John Locke. Among his many other political ideas, those are widely accepted, one idea that stands out is the idea of human rights. So the very first question is, what is a human right? To put it simply, you need some basic rights to live a good life. And without them, you may not die, but your life will then be reduced to that of an animal. So these rights are the most fundamental needs one should be provided to live like a human. Or being human, you need them to have a dignified life. Before discussing more about it or Locke's take on it, let me talk a little bit about John Locke. Locke was born in England, and most of his life he spent in government service, and later on practicing medicine. His most famous works are two treatises of government, very important, a letter concerning toleration, and there is one more important work that is an essay concerning human understanding. So you need to remember these three works, that's more than enough. First of all, let me tell you one thing. Locke believed in democracy. He argued that a ruler should be chosen by the ruled, people who he's gonna rule. And there should not be any other form of government. So this is the best form of government, democratic government, a democratic government. That being said, he also argued that even if there is no government or law, humans, remember this one, humans by default live by the law of nature. They are naturally social and rational. This law teaches us that all humans are naturally free and equal, and that they possess basic rights to life, freedom and property. So these are the three basic rights every human must have: right to life, right to freedom and right to property. Let me decode these three rights, natural rights. So the first one is life, which means everyone is entitled to live. Second one is freedom, which says everyone is entitled to do anything they want, so long as it does not conflict with the first natural right. The first one, life, right to life of other human beings. And the last one is state. Okay, that says everyone is entitled to own all they create or gain through gift or trade, so long as it does not conflict with the first two rights. These basic rights, universal and pre-political rights, are what the American Declaration of Independence calls the inalienable rights, and in today's world we call them human rights. Okay, there are more to human rights, but these three are the foundation. Though these laws are natural, still Locke knew that it was necessary to have a powerful government in order to maintain enough stability to keep people from taking laws into their own hands and harming one another. But he was dissatisfied because sometimes this type of government, the democratic government, can be very oppressive, and they can exercise absolute power over people and may deprive them of the liberties and freedoms that he believed all people had by nature or should have by nature. Right? Should have, must have. Locke, in his central political philosophy, believes in a government that provides what he claims to be basic and natural given rights for its citizens. In simple words, an ideal government will do everything to protect its citizens' natural rights or fundamental rights. As I mentioned, as per Locke, we have three basic rights: right to life, freedom and property. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about property, because Locke's treatment of property is generally thought to be among his most important contributions in political arena, but it is also one of the aspects of his thought that has been heavily criticized. There are important debates over what exactly Locke was trying to accomplish with his theory. There are two interpretations. The first interpretation sees Locke as a defender of unrestricted capitalist accumulation. That means, it is your right to have as much as you want. This is the first interpretation. The other interpretation where Locke is thought to have set, three restrictions on the accumulation of property in the state of nature. Number one may only appropriate as much as one can use before it spoils. That's called spoilage restriction. Number two, one must leave enough and as good for others. This is called the sufficiency restriction. And number three, one may only appropriate property through one's own labor. Okay, this is debatable. But this is the third restriction that Locke is trying to put on accumulation. See, one thing is for sure, that there has to be some restriction on how much you can own. Otherwise, the problem of socio-economic disparity will always be there, right? Rich will keep on getting richer and poor will keep on getting poorer. But the restrictions that Locke proposed had many flaws. For example, the problem with the first restriction is that it does not apply to money, right? Because money does not decay, right? What it says? The first restriction says, one may only appropriate as much as one can use before it spoils. Money never spoils, right? It does not decay. That means, as far as this restriction is concerned, it basically does not restrict when it comes to money. And in today's world, that is the most dangerous accumulation, which means the first restriction means nothing in today's world, right? The second restriction, however, that is again does not restrict anyone from accumulation, as there is enough for everyone, right? So what does it say? Again, let me read it again. One must leave enough and as good for others, right? So as long as there is enough for others, you can accumulate. The problem with this restriction is that, there is enough for everyone, right? You can accumulate as much as you want through private property, and still there will be enough left for everyone else. Then basically you're not putting any restriction in a real sense, right? The third one that says that, one can have as much as he or she can appropriate through their labor, again does not put any real restriction, because even if you earn through your own labor, you can earn as much as you can, right? And now the definition of labor, what labor you're talking about, like physical labor, mental labor, right? So you can make unlimited, you can accumulate as much as you want if you are using your mind correctly, properly, using your knowledge properly, or through your own labor also you can accumulate as much as you can, right? So there is no restriction. The bottom line is there is no restriction, right? But there is a catch also with the third restriction, that you have to acquire property through your own labor, right? That is the only restrictions it's talking about. But in capitalism, the capitalists take their shares from others' labors, right? Whether it's valid, whether it's legal, whether it's good, that he never explains. He never explained. Okay, so but he says that as long as all the parties involved are benefited, there is no problem, right? Then again, you are not putting any restriction, real restriction on the accumulation. But we have to think about forced labor also, right? Where people are being forced, they are being alienated from their work, so that may cause problem. So in short, there are many problems with all these restrictions, and Locke failed to provide any clarification on them, right? So the first interpretation, that was that there you can accumulate as much as you want without any restriction, that sounds more of Locke's view rather than the second one. Despite that, Locke's work has inspired, despite these many flaws, Locke's work has inspired many human rights resolutions around the world. Talking about the Constitution of India, it has 6 fundamental rights and several other rights under Part 3 from Article 15 to 31 in the Constitution. These 6 fundamental rights are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. Right to property used to be a fundamental right, but with the 44th Amendment in 1978, it was removed from the fundamental right status. Okay, so this is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you soon.